Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting to adorn your walls, this guide today promises to transform your approach to hanging art. So let's unravel the secrets together and learn how to showcase our prized possessions like true professionals. My name's Nina Medard, and I am a professional artist. I work in mixed media and create works that explore the theme of connectedness. Today, we're diving into the world of art installation with my ebook, Hang Like a Pro, a comprehensive guide to elevating your living space with beautifully framed artwork. The pieces you see behind me are my own creations, which you can explore and even purchase at ninamedard.com. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting to adorn your walls, this guide today promises to transform your approach to hanging art. So let's unravel the secrets together and learn how to showcase our prized possessions like true professionals. Today, I'm going to walk you through the 3 main steps of getting the artwork that you've purchased up onto your walls. We're going to go through how to frame, where to put it, and how to put it up. So I'm going to share my screen with you and let you see the guide. If you'd like your own, please look at the description below and we'll make sure to get you your own copy. All right, so welcome to my walkthrough of Hang Like a Pro, an art installation guide. We're going to break this down into 3 parts. We have finding your frame, where to hang your frame, and how to hang your frame. Because art in your closet or in your trunk or in a filing cabinet is really not going to help you very much in appreciating the treasures that you actually have brought into your life. So when we're looking for a frame, we kind of have 2 options to go with. We can do a ready-made frame, something like you'd find on Amazon or at a home goods store, and then you can go to a custom framer. And those 2 things reflect different price points, but let's walk through the benefits of each because both have benefits and both have downfalls. So behind me right here, we have a piece that has been professionally framed. What you'll find is when you go to a professional framer, it is going to be more expensive, but you're going to have a much more high quality experience. So if you have a piece that is maybe 3-dimensional or a bizarre size and size or shape, a professional framer is going to be able to customize the mat, this part around the actual artwork, to give it some breathing room around the custom sized frame. You'll also have the option to select different colored mats, lots of different style frames, and those can range anywhere from under $100 all the way up to thousands. If you go with something ready-made, like the piece over here, what you're going to get is standard size frames. They're primarily about 15 different sizes to choose from, which isn't bad, but you do have artists that sometimes offer pieces that are just wildly outside of that, in which time you would want to go with a professional framer. But if you have something 8 by 10, 5 by 7, 11 by 14, 16 by 20, you might be able to pick up a frame such as this one, 16 by 20 inches, a super decent size, for less than $100, which is just something you're not going to get with a professional framer. So if your piece is standard size and you are good with just a regular kind of limited set of options of frames, white mat or black mat with wood or black or white frame, if you're good with just something standard like that, then a ready-made frame found online or at a home goods store could be perfect for you. Especially sometimes you have a lot of artwork that needs to be framed because you haven't really gotten going with it yet. It can be a much more sustainable option for you if you're purchasing in high volume or, again, have kind of been hoarding artwork and it's time to get something on your walls. So those are really the pros and cons between the 2. Both can work, and it really just depends on the artwork itself. Is the artwork unique in size and shape? Are your tastes unique? If you are falling into a more unique category, then you're probably going to want to take the time to work with a professional framer. And it's always amazing to put in that extra investment and get that fantastic quality. But if your piece is really a more standard size and really a more standard shape, then you don't mind the standard visuals of the frame itself and the mat itself, then going with something ready-made can completely be a great option too. If you're uncertain about which category you're falling into, you can leave your questions in the comments below, or you can do a quick Google search. A few go-tos that I really like for standard ready-made frames can be places like yard sales and estate sales, craft stores, home goods, Amazon, Target. And then if you're really not sure where to start for custom framing, just do a quick Google search. Most cities and towns have plenty of options in your general area. And you even have places online such as FrameBridge where you can mail in your work and they will customize it for you. So we touched briefly on matting, and matting again is the white space that you see here on both of these pieces around the main piece of artwork. And matting, again, it gives a nice breathing room to the artwork so that you're not just transitioning straight from artwork right onto wall. And most people don't have wallpaper, but if you do have a busy pattern, this breathing room can be even more important. Do you prefer a frame or do you prefer including a mat also? Another benefit of using a mat, if you are not going with a professional framer, the mat allows a bit of space between the artwork and the glass, which you may have seen this happen before in the artwork that you have, but sometimes just that little bit of humidity can cause the artwork to stick to the glass, at which point it starts to create this weird bubbling effect, and it can actually ruin the piece of artwork when you go to remove it from the frame. So if you're going with a ready-made frame, that is one big reason to make sure to include a mat. If you're going to go with a professional framer, they're going to put a spacer in there to keep that space between the glass and the artwork, so you will not have that problem. Location, location, location. So this doesn't just go for restaurants and businesses, this goes for your artwork too. There are some do's and don'ts that I find help really guide my clients along the way of where to put artwork in their home. One thing to keep in mind is the scale. So depending on the size of the piece that you have now framed, where you want to hang that is going to depend on how much wall space you have. Not only are you looking for a place where it can physically fit, but just like the mat gives breathing room to the piece of art, the amount of wall space you give to the piece of art can have a lot to do with how it's interpreted and the type of energy that it gives off to a space. For a more classic example, I like to go with the 1/3 rule. So you might want to consider having, if your piece is 2 feet wide, make sure that you have 2 feet on each side of the frame. Again, these are rules of thumb, and if you feel very strongly about your aesthetic, then you can skip this part completely. But having an understanding that that more classic look is going to have about equal parts wall on both sides. Another example I like to put in this guide is that overfilled look. So while we just talked about that classic 1/3 rule, there's also this modern idea of really maxing out the wall space and filling the wall space completely with a frame. And that is a very bold, contemporary, and modern vibe. And so if that's more your style, you may want to think about finding spaces that are going to be well filled with the framed artwork that you now have. So moving beyond the physicality of the work is the vibe. Like, what brought you into this piece of art? What did it make you feel? What caused you to pull out your card or your cash and make an exchange of energy? There was something in that artwork that drew you in and made you feel like you had to have it. And being able to tap into that feeling and identify the vibe that the artwork is giving is going to help you a long way in figuring out where it is that you want to hang this piece of work. Maybe you picked a piece that is relaxing and it makes you feel like you are just completely calm. The place you might want to hang that would be somewhere like a bathroom or a bedroom. Or maybe you have a sitting room in your house or a study that is just there for you and for reflection and for calm times. Then you might want to put that piece in a room like that. Maybe you found a piece that is vibrant and it's lively and it's fun and it makes you think of fun times behind and ahead and happening now. That feels like a piece where maybe you want to be in the dining room or the room that you tend to party in and meet and mingle, a hallway, somewhere that you want to just nurture that active energy. So again, paying attention to how does the artwork make you feel and how does the artwork shift your state of energy? And so then taking those answers, you want to place the artwork in a place where those are the types of energy shifts you want to be experiencing, and those are the types of feelings that you want to be experiencing. And then lastly, you want to take content in mind when picking the location of your artwork. This hugely depends on your personality and your tolerance level for certain subject matter. So what I'm about to share with you are really considerations rather than hard rules, but certainly things that you do want to think about to help make you feel more confident in where you are going to put that nail. So if you have a piece of artwork that has kind of culinary themes, you might want to put it in the kitchen, the dining room, near your pantry, where it is that you eat breakfast, or halls by the kitchen. If you have something like seascapes or landscapes, you might consider putting it in a bedroom, living room, sunroom, bathroom. Now, these are really like basic examples, but it starts to give you a feeling. Behind me, I have a really reflective, meditative type of piece, having a lot to do with the subject matter that we discuss when we're going into meditations and we're going into talking about chakras and prayer and yoga. So that is really more of a content piece, and it's one that I like to discuss with my visitors and guests. So it's right here at the entryway, because those are things I'm interested in engaging with the people visiting my space. And then here I have a piece that is a hand going for some flowers. And right outside our house, we have the exact same flower bush. So it is, again, setting the tone for the transition. So think creatively about this. Not everything is going to be so clear cut, but reflecting on how the piece makes you feel, the energy that it brings into your life, and what the art is actually about. Let it rest maybe on a table for a few days near where you think it's going to go, and see, does that feel like it's great there, or does it feel like you might need to move it over 15 feet to another room, another hall, another wall? Give it some time so that you have a little bit of living with it before you make your decision final. Of course, you can take it off the wall and switch it anytime, but it's nice to feel like you did the right thing, right? Okay, hang time. So here's where you're going to need a couple of things. You're going to need a measuring tape. You're probably, depending on the size of your work, your artwork, you're going to want a leveler. You'll need a hammer, and you're going to need nails. And depending on the type of wall, you might need those supports to go in ahead of time so that you don't crumble the drywall. So at the basic level, what you're going to need is a hammer, you're going to need a nail, a tape measure, and a pencil. And then the nice to haves would include frame hooks, which makes your artwork more secure on the wall for passerbys and accidentals and things like that. It just allows the artwork a better grab on the wall. And those are super basic, something you can buy in packs of 100 straight off of any online store. And another nice to have would be rubber corners, which help to prevent shifting from happening just over time, and slight brushes and things like that into the piece. And again, depending on the size of your piece, you may want to enlist the help of a stud finder, but for most pieces that will not be necessary. Most pieces that are large enough to require a heavy frame are not going to have the additional weight of a piece of glass. They'll either be fully exposed, or there will be a high quality plexiglass on top, which will super reduce the weight, and you probably won't need a stud finder. So now you've got your piece of artwork. It is framed and or matted. You've selected your location, and you've got your hammer and crew. So you are going to need a tape measure, and you're going to measure the size of the space that you're going to be hanging the frame in. For this example, let's say that you have a 6-foot wall and you want to hang a single piece of artwork straight in the middle. You're going to measure the wall straight across, then divide that number by 2 and measure backwards into the center. And then what I like to do when I'm installing at clients' houses is mark the wall with a small horizontal line. If you've had your piece professionally framed, your framer has probably left you about 2 inches from the top of the frame down to the wire. And this will give you an idea of where you actually want your nail to go. So keeping in mind that the average eye level is about 57 inches, you'll want to make sure that the top quarter of your piece of artwork is around that area, because by and large, you do want your piece in eye level, unless, again, you have some other stylistic aesthetic priority in mind, which again is completely fine. My ebook is called A Guide for a reason. These are rules of thumb to get you started and unstuck from the places that are prohibiting you from actually enjoying the artwork that you, one, miraculously attracted into your life, went through the energy exchange of art for money. Now it is at home with you. So enjoy it. And 2D art generally needs a home on your wall to be fully enjoyed and appreciated on a regular basis. And appreciating it on the regular is a true relationship development. And although you've already fallen in love with the piece, I bet that given a few days, if not weeks, of time to get to know the piece and look at it regularly throughout the context of your day and the week and your life, that piece is going to speak to you in so many other ways. That love just keeps growing and growing and growing. So as we wrap up, I hope you're feeling inspired and equipped to begin your own gallery in your own space, to be able to enjoy the work that you've gone through the journey of bringing into your life. Remember, it's not just about the hammer and nails. It's about creating a space that reflects your own personality and your own priorities and passions. If you enjoyed today's video, remember to give it a thumbs up and click subscribe for more creative adventuring together. And remember to explore my own artwork at ninamedard.com.